Hello everyone, Sleep here, and welcome back to a new video. Here we're here to discuss and kind of just hype up a new game that's coming out. I'm actually really excited for the brand new Pokemon, which it's a little strange because I honestly haven't been into Pokemon for the past couple of generations, especially Sword and Shield. I just did not enjoy Sword and Shield at all. But earlier this year, there was a Pokemon game called Legends Arceus that I really enjoyed the gameplay loop of, and I felt like they were finally evolving the formula in a way that was actually interesting. You see, after the Black and White duology, there wasn't really anything interesting they were doing with the series. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the Mega Evolution stuff, and I really enjoyed some of the attempts to spice up the formula a bit with Sun and Moon, but I felt like that game was kind of half-baked, and it took until a whole expansion thing with the Ultra Sun and Moon for them to really make it into something that felt complete and like a full Pokemon game. I was just generally really frustrated with the lack of evolution, despite them going through like the whole visual overhaul, which personally I kind of miss the sprite stuff from like Black and White. Like they were really nailing down the art style back in Black and White, and if they gave that more time, holy shit, they would have been on like a whole different level of Pokemon. I mean, if they stuck with sprites, maybe they would have been able to keep all the Pokemon in future games instead of having to like cut them and like release them in shitty like little DLC packs for a shitty game that has like some of the worst Pokemon designs in the series. Like, God, I fucking hated the designer for Sword and Shield. He did an absolutely atrocious job at designing Pokemon for that generation. Like, my God, some of those are some of the worst. Like, before that, I didn't like Gen 3, but then we got to fucking Sword and Shield, and those were some of the worst Pokemon designs, like, easily. There was one part of Sword and Shield that I greatly appreciated, with them simplifying, like, Pokemon breeding and stats so that a lot more Pokemon are competitively viable, and there isn't as steep of a barrier of entry. Plus, they added the whole rank system, and just generally they made multiplayer a lot more fun in Sword and Shield. They kind of continued the simplification in Legends Arceus, which there wasn't multiplayer in that game, but they were adding a lot of the simplification I hope to see in Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. What's really hooking me on Violet and Scarlet is A, the visuals are a lot better than what were in like Legends Arceus. B, the Pokemon designs fucking slap. Like, oh my fucking God, they have some of the greatest Pokemon designs I've seen in a couple generations. Like, Black and White had some bangers, but it definitely had some duds too in there. And I'm just super honestly happy to see a lot of the Pokemon that I personally love in this game so far. Like, holy shit, they finally have AMPHAROS in an open world Pokemon game. Thank fucking Christ. The sheep is back, baby. Let's fucking go! I fucking love the starters for this generation too. Like, they might be some of my favorite starter designs in a long time. I just hope that they evolve into something cool and don't become fucking lamos, because there were some starter designs in the past that I really enjoyed, but then they evolved into some dumb shit, and I was like, what the fuck did you do? You dropped the ball, you motherfucker! I'm also really hoping they kept the catching mechanics from Pokemon Legends Arceus, because honestly, that was one of the most inventive and fun mechanics in the entire game. Like, the fact that you're able to run around and catch Pokemon in these really interesting and unique ways. Like, I remember in fucking Legends Arceus, you look for like Magnezone, and there was only one you were able to get, right? Unless you did like the stone shit, and he'd be like floating around the specific cliff, and you had to get like a specific ball to throw at him really fast, and it made you experiment with different ball types and like really use the environment in interesting ways. Like, I really love that shit, and it really immersed me in the world. The ways that Pokemon would attack you, and how you'd be able to use Pokemon to go and get berries and shit while you were like running. Like, it kept a really interesting game flow, and it made it so that everything felt really interesting and fun to collect. It was like a collectathon mixed with like an RPG. I fucking loved it. Also, from the looks of it, it looks like mounts are coming back, which are fucking awesome. Thank God they got rid of HMs like years ago. And I really loved how mounts were done in fucking Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, there was so much fun mechanics within that game. It's actually like insane how much that game was generally just a breath of fresh air for the Pokemon series as a whole. Like, there was a lot of really difficult boss fights, especially towards the end. Like, I really struggled with like Giratina boss fight. Not to elaborate on like spoilers or anything, but like, my God, there's actually some like really cool, interesting like boss mechanics, and they really kept the difficulty in with some of the battles. Like I said, the Giratina fight absolutely kicked my ass. Something that really excites me is the introduction of co-op. Like, they're adding it so you can have your like friends join. There's like a 4-player co-op thing, and I think it's like open world co-op, which is fucking insane. That sounds so fun, being able to like talk with my friends and grind out Pokemon and trade Pokemon and just explore like these different environments. It was just that sense of community that's really awesome and makes Pokemon feel so interesting and fun. I'm still not too crazy on this generation's mechanic with the whole crystal thing. It just feels like Gigantamaxing with like a whole different visual flair to it, which I didn't even like the visual flair of that last shit. I really think the series peaked with like mega evolutions in terms of mixing up the formula and bringing back Pokemon that weren't exactly used too much in competitive, but it also had that casual appeal that was just visually interesting and really cool. Like I loved mega evolutions, like Mega AMPHAROS of course is like, that's my favorite Pokemon right there, and so the fact that it got a mega was just like awesome. The fact that like Mega Tyranitar is basically just a giant Godzilla motif was amazing. I just hope they like bring that mechanic back in the future, because it's honestly a really cool mechanic, and it sucks to see them just scrap a mechanic and bring one in like every generation that's always not going to be as good as that mechanic in my opinion. Also, something super interesting that they're bringing into this game is you're able to do all the gyms in any order you like, which is really cool. It adds a lot of open-ended design, and I think it's going to be really cool to see people like speedrun this game. I'm sure there's going to be some like tricks to like max out your Pokemon really quickly and like get to the end, which I'm very excited for, because that shit's really interesting to me, and it adds a lot of longevity to the casual appeal of this game, while also adding a lot of interesting like professional appeal that wasn't just purely like battles. Something that I really want them to nail this game is the post game. Like I really love the post game and like a lot of the early Pokemon games, especially during like Gen 4. Gen 4 had the best post games of like any Pokemon game. The like fucking Heart Gold and Soul Silver remake, they had the entirety of like the original first gen, which was in the original game, but they just expanded on it and added a bunch of like really cool legendary events. Like I remember this trippy Arceus event that like really creeped me out as a kid, but I fucking loved it. I just hope to see more legendary events, and hopefully see less of the legendary events where it's just like, oh, you get a mystery gift, you go to the Pokemon Center, you have the legendary now. Like, that's just boring. I want to go like climb a mountain so I could go fight like a Rayquaza or something, you feel me? Like, that shit I really want to see in the future. But generally, this just looks like a good step in the right direction. Like, Pokemon Legends Arceus really was the step that Pokemon needed to really freshen up the formula. And I hope they keep introducing awesome mechanics that make the games feel interesting, and I hope they take more time with their Pokemon games in the future so we aren't just getting burnout and having like year-by-year releases. Like, you could do spin-offs again, bring back the spin-offs so you can have the gap be filled by something that isn't just purely the same Pokemon kind of RPG. You feel me? But overall, I think that's all I really have to say for today in terms of like what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet really look like. I'm hoping that the game turns out well, and I'm hoping for the best for the future of this franchise, because it's one that I grew up with and sadly I've been disappointed with in the past couple of years, but I'm happy to see it really do a 360 and like turn itself around in a really cool way. But thank you guys for watching this video. It was just a fun little discussion video. This is Sleep, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye!